Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I am going to be answering some of your questions. I've gotten a number of questions on some of my older videos that I was never notified of and never read until very recently when I was looking back, searching for questions to answer, and in a couple of my recent videos I asked you guys specifically to ask me some questions because I wanted to do a Q&A. So it's going to be a combination of all those questions and hopefully some of the people who asked those questions a while back are watching this and have stuck around, because I'm sorry I never got back to you. I just didn't see it until now. So let's get on with it. How did you dress up in the first of transitioning, and if people caught you, how did you come out? So when I first started transitioning socially, I wore skinny jeans almost exclusively. That was like always what I was wearing. I wore on the top part of my body, it was always like a t-shirt, a crop top, or a tank top, and then usually I would wear a hoodie over top of it, because one of the first things I did after coming out was start wearing bras, but I was very insecure and self-conscious about that because I wasn't really passable at all back then, and I didn't have boobs at all. It was just for my own dysphoria to have the bra, so I didn't really want people to know I was wearing one, but I just wanted me to know. So I always wear like a hoodie, and I'm like, this is like, people probably won't notice, or a sweater. If I was going out, I'd wear like a sweater or a hoodie all the time, but always skinny jeans. And I also got like a pair of combat boots early on, which to me was like my sacred piece of clothing that just made me feel very secure with myself and very like confident. I feel like a lot of trans girls can relate to that, where they have like one piece of clothing that they just feel really good in all the time. It could be like a shoe, a hat, a shirt, a skirt, anything like that. But that was it for me. As for getting caught, I never had anyone like say to me, "Are you trans?" Like because of something I was wearing. Not that I can remember anyway. I just kind of like, I was always pretty out there with what I wore, and I don't think it shocked too many people when they saw me wearing super feminine clothing. The closest I got to that sort of situation was a coworker of mine at the time. Like I came into the store when I wasn't working, and I had like a hoodie on over this, but I was wearing this really girly shirt with a bra underneath. And I guess it was like the hoodie wasn't entirely zipped up. It was mostly zipped up, but he totally noticed it. It had like this lacy sort of collar, and he was kind of making fun of it. And he was like, "What is this? This is such a girly shirt." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, my mom gave it to me." And that was pretty just much my reason for it. And I'm like, "I don't know. She gave it to me." And it was really awkward, but nothing really came of it. That was the whole conversation. So. In coming out, did you have any obstacles in the realm of conservative/religious parents, or just closed-minded family or friends? So I definitely lucked out. My parents and my family are super supportive of me and always have been. So I didn't really face any obstacles there. It was not something I had to really deal with too much either. I just came out to my mom, I think my mom and my brother. And then they came out to like the entire rest of the family for me. My mom told my dad and her mom, and then her mom told that side of the family, and my dad told his side of the family, etc. Like it just sort of, I didn't have to worry about it pretty much at all. There was never a doubt in my mind that my parents would have an issue with it or anything. I don't grow up in like a religious or conservative household at all, so it wasn't much of a fear of mine. I just got really lucky, honestly. What's your dosage of estradiol, and do you take T blockers? My dosage of estrogen is 0.1 milligrams in patch form, which I believe translates to 3.88 milligrams in like a normal oral form. I say normal just because like most people take it that way, I think. But yeah, I don't take T blockers anymore because I had surgery, and in that area it's not necessary anymore. But probably at the time this comment was left, I'm pretty sure I did. Initially I had the implant in my arm, which I think is called Lupron, and then I had the injection a few times, which was called Lupron for sure. I know that. What age did you start HRT? I got my testosterone blocker in my arm when I was 15, and then I got on estrogen at 16, And then I got on progesterone at 17. Did you start losing hair on progesterone? I did not start losing hair on progesterone. I'm not sure. Is that like a thing that happens or can happen? It's certainly not anything my endocrinologist ever mentioned that I can remember. I don't know if you're talking about like head hair or facial hair or pubic hair or underarm hair, but not that I ever noticed. What's your height? 5'7" and a half. How did you deal with transitioning in school, knowing that there are people out there who either don't understand or are just mean in general? I was actually homeschooled my whole life, so I didn't have to deal with that. That's pretty much it. And I was really lucky. Pretty much everyone in my life who knew me beforehand was very accepting, and I met lots of other friends in the LGBT community, so I got really, really lucky. Again, I just didn't really have to deal with that. Are there any currently airing cartoons you're into right now? So many of the cartoons I really loved, like, just finished, like She-Ra just finished, Steven Universe, a show that is going on is The Owl House, which I saw, like, 2 episodes of, and I liked it so far, but I like never got back into it because I want to watch it with my brothers, and we just haven't gotten around to it yet. But that I definitely want to start watching. I want to watch Infinity Train too, which I haven't seen any of yet, except for like one of like the pilot or whatever. It was on their like Cartoon Network's YouTube channel a long time ago. But BMO, Distant Lands, BMO, the new like Adventure Time thing just came out, which I haven't seen yet, but I definitely want to because Adventure Time is one of my favorite shows ever. It just ended again, but the Harley Quinn cartoon I really liked. Other than that, currently airing, I want to watch The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, seen like 1 episode, need to watch more. The Loud House is really funny. It's not like my favorite show ever, but it's pretty good. It's a good show. Happy that the kiddos get some wholesome, fun content with gay dads. It's a pretty good show, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for shows right now. Has being on HRT changed your orientation, or has it remained the same? First of all, thank you very much. Second of all, no, it has not. I have remained a lesbian throughout my life and continue to be one very happily. But no, I've heard of some people talk about their experiences feeling like their orientation has changed after starting hormones. And I don't think that we have really any scientific evidence to back up the idea that HRT could cause a sexual orientational shift. The hypothesis that I've seen from most trans women who have experienced that is that like they become more comfortable with themselves in general and are able to correctly identify their heterosexuality, because I've seen it mostly happen in trans women who become attracted to men, feel like they're becoming attracted to men after starting HRT or transitioning, and so like they're like be more able to correctly identify and view their heterosexuality rather than before, if they saw themselves more as male or weren't able to really see themselves how they wanted to. It just seemed like the wrong orientation. I don't really know. I'm not explaining this super great, but yeah, I have heard in some cases it happens. I think it's more about like a psychological thing though, is my guess, and I didn't experience it myself. I'm a newly out 14-year-old trans person. Do you have any tips for me? Welcome. First off, I'll say, it can be a tough road. It probably will be a tough road. Transitioning has many, many ups and downs. There'll be moments of intense euphoria and moments of intense dysphoria, and you got to ride through those lows to get to the highs. It's hard, but it's an amazing, liberating thing. I don't know really anything about your situation, but if it's about like getting past difficult family members and friends, being accepted, or if it's more about your own sort of thing, like figuring out how to find your own new fashion sense and stuff, it could be, I would give you a different answer depending on what you're sort of looking for, but based on my limited knowledge, I would just say that transitioning is a very gradual process, which can be frustrating at times. I know that I really had this idea and really, really wanted to be able to flip the switch and just hit a button. And once I was ready and had practiced my voice enough and gotten my wardrobe ready and practiced my makeup skills enough, that I'd just be able to go out into the world as a woman after one day being totally a man. And that is pretty unrealistic. You have to learn to socially transition gradually, and then the physical transition is going to be very gradual as well. So just try to be as patient as you can. I know it's hard. Surround yourself with positive influences. If you don't know trans people in real life that can be a positive influence for you, watch YouTubers. I'm not saying me necessarily. There's some wonderful YouTubers who have really, really helped me. Just watching them, not even necessarily getting advice from them, but just actually watching them be happy, putting themselves out there. It helped normalize the idea of being trans for me and made me feel a lot more comfortable with myself. Some of these YouTubers are AJ Clementine, Maya Henry, Steph Sanyati, who I don't think is quite as active as anymore, but she used to be. Chloe Arden, again, not as active as she used to be, but she was a huge one for me. I'll link some channels in the description, but yeah, definitely just try and surround yourself with people like that if you can, and if not in person, online. That was a big one for me. And be patient. I wish you luck. How old are you? Someone already answered this in the comments, but yeah, I am 18, just to confirm. Have you ever wondered if you were born intersex? Did you want to take your karyotype or do some genetic testing to see what's going on? This is an interesting question. I never really wondered about it until very recently, and I watched this episode of Grey's Anatomy where there's an intersex character who does not know that they're intersex, and I was like, oh, I guess I had never considered that it was something that you could not be aware of, but obviously it is. I guess I would have expected to have found out during puberty or at some point in my life, but I guess it's possible that I couldn't have. So I actually did start wondering about it kind of recently. I'm like, just being someone who's experienced gender dysphoria for so long and felt like a woman from like age 9 or earlier, probably earlier. Of course, it's possible that I could not be. I mean, there are plenty of trans people who aren't intersex, but yeah, it was something I was curious about. And honestly, I'm not super educated on intersex things. And I should be, because I think intersex people are often very misunderstood, and we should do our best to educate ourselves on those sorts of things. Do you have Instagram? I do now, and enough people asked me that I decided I would finally make a public one. I used to get quite a lot of comments asking if I had Instagram, and my answer was always, I don't. I just have a private one, and it's pretty much people in real life exclusively who follow that one. But enough people started asking me that I'm like, you know what? I will make one. And so that is Boone_Williams_. I'll link it in the description so you don't have to memorize that. And yeah, I haven't really posted much on it yet, but hopefully there will be more content in the future. I also have a Twitter, which will also be linked in the description. And it's also linked on my channel as well as my new Instagram. So thank you to everyone who asked me to do that, because now I've finally done it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for all your awesome questions. If you would like to do another Q&A, if you'd like me to do another Q&A, I should say, in the future, if you want a part 2, let me know by leaving a like and comment more questions, because I'd love to answer them. Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.